As I promised, I'm going to make a video here about basic Photoshop editing where you convert a color photograph into a color and black and white photograph. Now, I could not improve upon this photo. I'm not even trying to. This is actually one of the most iconic photographs of all time. It was on the cover of National Geographic magazine years and years ago, and it was voted by National Geographic readers as the best cover photo in the history of National Geographic magazine. So I'm going to just use it because it's easy to select part of this photo in a demonstration. So I do have Photoshop open, so it'll open more quickly. So it would normally never open this quickly. So you can open Photoshop and then go find your images and open them that way. That it opens much faster. So I'm going to just go to view, put on screen. And that's just the basics. You can use the magnify or the zoom tool to zoom in on parts of the photo, which I use more than anything else most of the time. Or I'll use shortcut keys, Control plus, Control minus. So if I hold down the Control key and hit plus or minus, I can zoom in and out that way. Or I can use the Control plus 0 to get back to the view and fill out the screen with my image. So first thing I'm going to do is crop this photo. When it was on the cover of National Geographic, it was a portrait shaped image. So I'm just going to crop it a little bit tighter here, but those colors are just so beautiful. I'm not even sure if this background wasn't added by some Photoshop person later on to expand the photo. I don't know because I do not know what the original looked like. But that's beside the point. I wanted to crop it because I'm just going to change the eyes. Well, I'm not going to change the eyes. I'm going to keep the eyes in color and make everything else black and white, just for simplicity's sake. And you guys, you're so creative. Once you learn this process yourself, you will come up with all kinds of ideas for doing color black and white. So I'm going to use the zoom tool, and I'm just going to click right between her eyes here and zoom in. And I showed you in class that there are several selection tools. And I'm not going to try to teach you about all these tools right now. I just want to show you that there's rectangular, elliptical, single row marquee, single column marquee. Columns go up and down, right? Here's the lasso, polygonal lasso for geometric shapes, tracing over those, magnetic lasso, and then the quick selection, which I showed you about, the object selection, and then the magic wand. The magic wand works well if something is all one color. Like if you had a pair of red shoes and they were just super bright red shoes and the laces were red also, you might be able to use the magic wand tool to select them quickly. But I'm going to use the magnetic lasso tool for the eyes because the eyes are not all one color. And even the quick selection tool, when I tried it, it went out here and captured part of the white part of her eyes. Even though that's basically almost in black and white, you can see there's other colors here. So what you do with the magnetic lasso is you click, you put the pointer where you want to start. You click, and then that puts what we would think of like sticking a magnet on a refrigerator, right? And then you just move the arrow along the contours of the shape and you click every once in a while. Because what you want to do is just get the edges. Now you'll see here, it's not going to be a perfect circle. If you start doing this and you see it droop like that, back off a little. It's still not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Because her eye is not perfectly round with her eyelid and everything. And when you get to the last one, it should automatically go into the marching ants kind of thing. Marching ants, again, tells you what you have selected. To select more, you hold down the shift key. I want to get the other eye. There are other ways to select other than what I showed you, but like you can do select by color The problem with that here is you have not just one color in the eye, you have more than one. But you can get good enough at it to where you can refine the technique. I just double clicked on the eye because I could not get it to work. So if you double click on the last box, it should do that automatically. Now you can see here, I went a little bit too far inside. Plus is to add more, you push down the shift key. I'll push it again and it'll show you. There's a little plus symbol right there. Minus is the Alt key. So I can push the Alt key to take out this area here. Not that it's necessary, but I'm holding down Alt, you see the minus. Then I could just go to the lasso tool and just sort of draw around the area I, whoops, don't want. If you mess up, push Control Z. Oops, back to Alt. Let me try that again. And you have to be really careful with your mouse, especially my mouse, it slides a lot. So I think I'm just going to stop right here. I think that's going to be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so you can see. And I don't want to make the eyes black and white. So I have to inverse my selection. So I have the eyes selected. You see the marching ants. Inverse, you go to select inverse. That will reverse your selection, so to speak. Now the marching ants are going around the entire image. And actually her eyes are not selected, but it's showing you what area is selected around there. Then you go to image adjustments and you'll use your black and white setting. Okay. Now, it's going to change it. Like I said, this is not going to make it better, but I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And then I'm going to do select, deselect to see how it looks. Now, the eyes don't look too bad here, but what I could do is add a little more color to them to make the photo stand out more. So I'm going to go to select, reselect. And now what I have selected now is not the eyes. It's still this area out here. So I'm going to go back to select, invert. You have to play with this, guys. You have to experiment. Let me zoom in. The next thing I want to do is something else I'll be typing up for you. But you don't need to remember it right now. I'm going to go to image adjustments. And this is one of the basic 4 steps that we do when we edit any photo. We crop, we play with brightness, contrast, and we go to the color. And this would be the color section where we go to vibrance, not use saturation so much. Vibrance brings out colors that are kind of soft, that are already there, but they're kind of hidden. And you can see I could take all the color out by bringing the vibrance all the way down. But I'm just going to kind of go in here. Now, saturation will do this. It makes it start looking like a clown picture. Although, some of you are probably already thinking, oh, I got plans for that. I'm just going to add a little more vibrance to it, and I'm going to select, deselect it, and zoom out. So now it's a little more intense with the eyes. I could have also added more green, etc., etc., etc. Another thing I could have done was to leave the background green and her eyes green, but I'm just trying to keep it as simple as I can, okay? So, and then what you do, it already had a name, so I would just do File, Save As. Remember, you want to save as. It was called Great Photo 1. I could have called it National Geographic 1, whatever. I'm going to call it Great Photo 1 _ BW, black and white. So make sure that you save it with a different name. Otherwise, if you screw it up, you have to go back and start the whole thing over again.